Well, I think it's important to note that this is not about fear of spiders, because
No.
there's plenty of family members I have in this house that are afraid of spiders. And
We're going to be talking
get
about how fear gets in the way of
Okay,
us running
gotcha.
our family,
That's way more
our
helpful.
finances, and how it can really prevent us from doing what we're supposed to be doing.
What is the first step when it comes to things like, for example, I said fear of failure. Like a lot of companies go out of business because they ignored the situation, all because of fear.
The avoidance of feeling like something bad is going to happen. The only way to actually overcome whatever fear that is to face that fear.
Face it head on.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Pillay Place, where we talk about faith, family, and finance from a very traditional view in this modern world. I'm excited to have you guys today. We're going to be talking about fear, and I think that's a universal emotion that a lot of us go through. And so, are you okay?
I'm laughing because you said we're going to talk about faith, family, and finance, but today it's all about fear.
Well, fear, I'm not done yet. We're going to be talking
get
about
it.
how fear gets in the way of
Okay,
us running
gotcha.
our family,
That's way more
our
helpful.
finances, and how it can really prevent us from doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So what you got on fear?
Well, I want to first identify fear. Have you ever felt fear?
Oh, yeah. Many times.
How would you describe your fear?
Well, I think it's important to note that this is not about fear of spiders, because
No.
there's plenty of family members I have in this house that are afraid of spiders, and I just laugh. But and this is not about insects or bugs or those fears. It's about the fears that actually hinder our progress, right? Like the one that I can really relate to is the fear of failure.
Yeah, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can identify fear as a very unpleasant emotion, right? And a fear is usually provoked by a thought or a belief that feels that we believe or think that it's threatening or dangerous.
Okay.
Okay, and so the fear is activated in the amygdala. It's like an almond-sized shape in the back of our temporal lobes, and when we feel fear, or when we see something as dangerous, it activates the fight, flight, and freeze. We're going to focus more on the freeze response today, and in the freeze response, our brain tries to always keep us safe. And so in the freeze response, it's like playing dead. Like your heart rate kind of slows down, you become a little bit more observant, and you kind of almost strategize on how to get out of that dangerous situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. But what happens when we feel fear is we're impaired in the higher level of thinking. So our long-term thinking becomes like it's non-existent. It's just trying to survive. Okay, the brain shuts down, and sometimes in the freeze response, it looks like I think we can maybe identify a specific situation, and then it would probably be helpful. So can you tell me a time where you feel scared of something or doing something or starting something?
Yeah, I mean, many times, like when I would struggle, and it's a continuous work for me on the fear of failing, because at one point it's like, okay, well, we're gonna start a new business, right? We
That's
had
a great one.
right, like we had an investment idea a few years ago, and I made that investment, and all my fears came head on because somebody stole our money, right? Like, right, and I couldn't sleep all night, and it's like, it creates this memory where you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, let's back up a little bit to when there is an idea that we want to start, there like an idea that you want to start or a business that you want to start, and now you start contemplating like, should I do it? Should I not do it? Those are your fear, like in thought form, talking to you. Like the thoughts can be, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? And those are worry, fear, you're feeling worried, right? Sometimes those fear acts as protection. Like it's protecting you from failure, which is your ultimate fear. Like it's not worth it, and I don't want to pursue it. But that also prevents us from really doing what God wants us to do. The intention in your purpose is not. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just, I think what you're saying is really important because I'm in investments, right? And there are times where we are afraid of making an investment, right? We're not afraid of making the decision to invest or not to invest.
Yeah.
We're just afraid of moving forward. Majority of the time, what I've learned and realized, especially in investments, try to keep your emotions out of it, right? You try to be as objective as you can be.
Sure.
And especially if I know it's a God idea, I'm like, okay, what am I missing? I'm always looking for the missing component that would, reduce my fear essentially. Because reality is sometimes you can't get rid of fear all the way. There's because if you have fear of unknown, for example, in investments, you're like, well, it's calculated. It's, we are doing the best that we can to mitigate all the risks, but it could fail anyways, right? And things could just go bad, and that can happen any moment, right? And fear of the unknown is real, but as much as we can reduce that through information or data, we can at least move forward, as educated as you can be.
Yes. Yeah. The part that I think is important to kind of talk about is that when we feel fear, it's trying to prevent us from doing something.
Yeah.
Because we want to feel safe all the time.
Right.
Right? And if it feels dangerous, then we don't want to do it. That's the enemy's scheme.
Right.
Of preventing us from doing what God is calling you to do.
Right.
Or finding your purpose and intention, your intended purpose in life.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes it can hide. It can look like perfectionism. And it can sound like, I'm going to have it all together. Once I have it all together, then I'll start this business. I'll start pursuing this idea. Sometimes it can sound like let me just get all my ducks all in a row perfectly before I step in to something. And then sometimes it can also look like procrastination, right? It's like, I'm going to wait until all my kids grow up, and then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to wait until all my debt is paid off. I'm going to wait until everything is in order and get it all together. Those are lies, because you can't guarantee success. You're not bulletproof from failure, and you won't ever be able to please everyone perfectly all the time.
That's right.
And you're always your biggest critics.
You are.
And so once we kind of know all those thoughts, then we can calculate and think about, is it worth it? And anything that is worthy to be pursued always requires a little risk.
Of course.
That feels a little scary.
Yeah.
But I think that also means it's an absence of faith.
Yeah. Fear. That's the Bible definition of fear, right?
Yes.
And it's the absence of faith. It's the opposite of faith. If you go back to episode 5, we talk about sin and evil. How did it come into the world? But that's really where this fear grew, because we were absent of faith. All of a sudden, we were no longer connected to God, right? And that's where fear came in. Bible also says this, that absence of love, propels fear.
Yeah.
right? Because it's love that actually helps you get rid of fear. Unconditional love, actually, right? Were you going to say something? Yeah. I guess one of the questions that I had for you was how do you deal with fear? Like, what is the first step when it comes to things for example, I said fear of failure.
The quick answer is to face the fear.
Okay.
But you don't, oftentimes people don't see the fear, they don't see the thoughts in the fear.
That's actually where procrastination comes in.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just going to have it all set up and ready. I'll have everything put together. I'll, lose that weight before I XYZ.
I constantly think in business terms, right? And in business, a lot of people like they had fear of innovating when all this industrial age came, and then now it's the AI generation, right? And there's this fear of change, and because of that fear, they stay behind, and like a lot of companies go out of business because they ignored the situation, all because of fear,
Yes, the avoidance of fear,
right?
the avoidance of feeling like something bad is going to happen.
Yeah,
And that's you avoiding the actual what you're afraid of.
right.
And the only way to actually overcome whatever fear that is to face that fear.
Face it head on. Yeah.
Right? If you're going to tell me, because I don't like spiders, but if I go to you and I go, I really want to get rid of my fear of spiders, you're probably, how to overcome that fear is to have me hold a spider and realize that it's not that scary.
Right.
Right? So same thing with overcoming the fear of failure. Like the only way to overcome the fear of failure is to actually fail and realize,
fall forward, yeah.
Yeah, to actually fail and realize, okay, I can still get back up.
Right.
And the thing is, nobody is bulletproof from failure.
Yeah.
I think if we were to talk to any really successful people out there, they can tell you stories
Yeah.
after stories
That's right.
of failing.
Yeah.
And because it's just bound to happen.
It's bound to happen. It's part of life.
But if you avoid it and you avoid it for a long period of time, it just reinforces the belief that you're powerless and that you can't overcome it.
Yeah.
So we really have to work on facing that fear head on
Yeah.
and accepting the fact that, right, there's a chance that I am going to fail.
So that, I mean, that's a great point. I get it with, fear of failure, but what if it's really deep? What if it's something tragic that happened, and maybe it happened before, and that fear hinders you,
The trauma of it.
like the trauma, whether it be an accident or something really tragic like a death. How do you handle that? How do you face that head on?
It's doing it regardless.
Okay, when you say doing it, are you saying processing it?
No.
Or what do you mean by that?
I mean, yes.
Give me practical
Being a
steps.
therapist, I think it's important to process your trauma.
Okay.
Okay. But that only gets you so far.
Okay.
You still have to do the work of overcoming and facing it.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you end up avoiding that fear. And the more you avoid it, the more powerless you feel. There is just no escape.
So it holds you back, essentially.
It holds you back. It holds you back. It holds you back from living.
Yeah.
It holds you back from living. Just the fact that you can that you overcome it, even if you fail, the fact that you did it, that boosts your confidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna? The most. Okay, bringing this back to how it gets in the way of like business decisions or how we run our finances or family. I think I hear a lot of people now. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want to have a family because I don't want my trauma to be passed down to my children.
Yeah.
Or I don't like kids are not for me. Like I'm not. I have too much trauma
Yeah.
to have children,
Right.
right? Like those are fears.
Right.
Like you are basing your if you really want children, like deep down, but you're telling yourself that I'm not going to be able to,
Right.
that is letting fear run your life.
Right.
And does anybody parent perfectly? I haven't met one. Like, I remember, I'm going to save this story for another time, but I think of when we first had Noah, do you remember how freaked out I was? Like he would cough and I'm like, I'm going to call the nurse.
Yeah. Got to go to the
You
ER.
know, we gotta,
I mean, with everything, with the first one.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we go through it, and we face it and we work it out. And that helps us build confidence in ourselves.
And
And
by
that
the time the third one comes, they're falling off the table, and it's like, oh, that'll be fine.
yes, but like it helps you build trust
Yeah.
in your ability
Yeah.
to parent or even to do a business,
Right.
to start a business. The hardest is always the first step.
Of course. Of course. The other aspect to this is, where is God in all of this, right? Because when you say facing it head on, right? The Bible states this 365 times, which means there's a verse for every day. It says that 365 times, do not be afraid.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
Yeah. So meaning that the Lord knows that when sin came into the world, fear versus faith is what started kind of propelling a lot of people, right? And fear is how people make a lot of decisions. I mean, we see it in business all the time, and we're like, that is not a good way to run your business based on fear, right? And what I love what the Bible says is that I'm going to be with you, the piece that I admire so much about God is there's this instance in Mark 15:34, okay? And Jesus is about to essentially die, right? He's about to die. And we know the good ending. The good ending is he gets raised from the dead. But he's about to die, and he says, and in short, I'm just rephrasing, my God, why have you forsaken me? And I believe it's such a powerful verse because in that moment, my wonder was, how can God leave Jesus? And Jesus is supposed to be full of grace and truth. Mm-hmm. So either he's lying in this verse or God truly has detached himself from Jesus. And I realize in that moment, God cannot die. He's full of life. So Jesus, who's God taking humanity, right? And it's hard for my brain to wrap around that. Mm-hmm. But he is taking on death. He dies all so that God could raise him from the dead and everyone would have a chance of reconciling with him. Mm. It's the most pure, unconditional love, right? So what does this have to do with fear? Because when I was trying to face my fear of failure head on, right? I was like, man, I might lose my job, or I might do this, or this might happen, or I may not have enough money to pay for these things. And this is where the Lord led me. And I realized that when he said, I'm not going to leave you nor forsake you, right? Do not be afraid 365 times. This was how he did it. He went through all that, even detached himself from Jesus, all so that he could reconcile with me. so that he could be always with me. So I live in this world. Yes, there's problems. Yes, there's issues. Yes, there's fear. But how can I not face it knowing the God who did all that would be with me forever?
Yeah. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. I think when we are afraid, we hang on to control,
Right.
right? And when we hang on to control, we're not letting God take it.
That's right.
And and he won't be like, let go, like tear it apart. Like he's very gentle.
He is. That's
And
right.
he's gonna let you, when you're ready to let him, then he'll take over. But as long as you're, it actually reminds me of the
He would
story
have
of,
to, sorry, he would have to defy free will if he just took it from you.
exactly. I remember this. I took the kids to the park.
Right.
So we have 3 children, and so they're currently 6, 4, 2. And I think this was when our second was probably about a year and a half, 2 years old. We were at the park, and our second went down the slide. Well, not really. He's hanging at the top of the slide, and so his feet is dangling, and he's dangling. He's looking back like this, and he was like, "Mom, help me," right? And I'm looking, and I go, "Honey, it's okay. You can let go. Like you're not gonna get hurt." He's like 2 feet from, like he's not gonna get hurt,
Yeah.
but he can't see, so he hangs on even tighter.
Right.
Right. And I'm telling him, honey, you can let go. You're not going to get hurt.
Right.
And so he had to trust me, which he didn't have faith because he needed to see, he needed to see.
You need to see to believe.
He needed to
Yes.
see the ground, and he
Right.
couldn't see the ground because he's dangling like off the slide. Right. And he was feeling like nervous and anxious, and I keep telling him, don't worry, like I got you, you're not gonna get hurt. And eventually, I mean, I wanted to help him because he's kind of miserable right there, just dangling, but I didn't. I actually just kept telling him, like, don't worry. And it reminds me of how God keeps telling us, like, don't worry, because he can see that you're not gonna get hurt, but you can't see.
Yeah.
Right? He can see that even if you failed, you're not going to get hurt, that he still got you.
That's right.
I'm not going to let him get hurt,
Yeah.
And so eventually he let go. He took the risk,
Right.
and he took the risk and he let go, and he didn't get hurt. He landed on his feet,
Right.
and he felt so much more confident because he overcame that fear.
Yeah. It's it doesn't have the power to overpower you. Right. Even if you fail, it's not the end of the world.
No.
Right. And not majority of the time, matter of fact, almost 100% of the time, anytime I have failed, I have learned something way more amazing that was worth, what they say, the price of the ticket, or whatever the saying is. And one thing that I want to say about overpowering, in John chapter 16, I believe it's verse 22 or 33, one of those verses, and Jesus is speaking, and he says, in this world you will have trouble, but fear not. I have overcome the world and deprived it of the power to harm you.
Yeah.
Right? And which is so clear that he clearly understands what we're facing, but more importantly, he's seen the end. Like, it's okay. I got you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I think like when we starting like this business a couple of years ago, right? We had some fear.
Yeah.
There was a fear of like, are we capable? Are we able to do this?
Right.
Like, what if it doesn't work out? What if we disappoint people?
Right.
Like, these are the thoughts, and they're real thoughts. But if you kind of if you if you focus on those thoughts, you're not going to find the answer. You're just focusing on fear.
Right.
And so, and the thing is, it helps us too. Like, okay, what if we fail? Then we started looking at what are possibilities of that,
Yeah.
and then try to prevent it. So I don't want to talk about fear as in this like scary thing and fear is bad, because fear actually has some protective factors. There's a reason why fear exists, is to
Yeah.
keep us away from
Danger.
danger, right?
Like our 2-year-old. I wish she had a little bit more fear.
Yeah, a little healthy amount of fear would be
Little
good
healthy
for her,
dose,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. But like, we don't want that fear to take us away from our purpose, our our goals or our passion,
Yeah. Or just progress,
or
right?
progress and growth.
Yeah.
It can really hinder us
That's right.
from that. And so we don't want that type of fear. And we have to kind of discern or differentiate. Is this fear going to help me grow?
Right.
No, sorry. Is this fear protecting me?
Right.
Or is this fear keeping me from growth?
Yeah. This brings up a really good point, because what you're saying is those subtle thoughts. What if we disappoint people? What if we couldn't do what we said we would do?
Yeah.
Or what those little thoughts, right? And those little thoughts, in John 10:10, Jesus is very clear. He says, John is a book in the Bible, chapter 10, verse 10. Okay. He says that I have come to give you life. But he also says that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he's been doing this from the beginning. So when you go back to the garden, in episode 5, we talked about what happened in the beginning, where the sin came into the world.
Yeah.
It was through subtle thoughts that the enemy deceived the first humans,
Yeah.
Adam and Eve.
And yeah.
Right. And it's those subtle thoughts. It's not always like, oh, you're going to fail, right? It's like, what if? What if?
It is. So in my practice, I make it a point to teach my clients how to identify those settled thoughts. I mean, the Bible talks about taking every thought captive, as in every thought. And we have a gazillion thoughts
Yeah.
a day, right? We want to capture probably not all
Well-
gazillion thoughts.
Well,
'cause
I
they're
think
actu-
women have a lot more thoughts than men.
really.
Yeah.
Show me the proof there.
There are many times you ask me, what am I thinking? I'm like, absolutely nothing.
Well, I don't know how that's possible. Like, how do you not think about anything at all? Like, you have to be thinking about
See,
something.
right now, let's get back on, because I have no thoughts around that.
But yeah, I try to make it a point where we actually identify those thoughts and then identify those lies. And then we replace the lie with a truth or with the truth. And the truth doesn't, it doesn't. I love what we talked about a long time ago about truth and facts. Like, we match it to the truth. Like, facts are changing, our feelings, the weather. Like, sometimes I feel sad, sometimes I feel scared and happy. Like, those are,
It's sunny right now.
it's sunny right now. Like, those are facts, right? Like, those are the things that can change. It's
Right.
the only, actually, it's the only way therapy actually works, because feelings can change.
Correct.
Circumstances is an external locus of control. We can't really change that. But what we can change is our perception of it
Our perception based on the truth.
based on the truth.
So-
we can change our thoughts, our automatic thoughts, which are usually lies, and then replace them with the truth.
So the punchline is seek the truth. Punchline is seek the truth, right? And, the
It
Bible.
can feel like the truth, though, right? Like, oh, it looks like I'm going to fail this test. But if we dive down to the rooted thought, it's like, okay, what if I'm going to fail this test? What if this podcast doesn't work out?
Yeah.
And then underneath that is like, okay, what does it mean if it doesn't work out? It means that I failed.
Yeah.
It means that I'm a failure. There you go. You've just identified the root. and then you try to avoid the fact that the possibility that you are a failure.
Yeah.
But the truth is, everybody fails. Does that mean everybody is a failure?
No.
That's the
Right.
truth.
And
It's
in,
like
and
we can make mistakes. We don't have to identify and label ourselves as a failure. We can just be, well, yes, I made mistakes.
right. And
And there's a humility piece to it. It's
there
like,
is.
and yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm just adding to that is, and we're not failures.
No.
When we learn who we really are, we realize, and who do we ask? We ask the Lord. We ask God who we are, and He will tell you. He wrote it in His book, the Bible, and He says that every good and perfect gift comes from above.
Yes.
So everyone that He has created, right, is created good and well, right? Unfortunately, we live in a fallen world. We make mistakes, but it's really getting through that.
Yeah, and I think I want to close with I think what I want to close with is that we all have this universal emotion of fear, and they're not always true. They're there to protect us, and we want to be able to identify, is this fear preventing us from starting the next business or journey of family, or even taking that leap of faith into coming to God, receiving Jesus? Is it preventing you? It almost prevented you,
That's right.
right?
It was fear that
Fear
started.
that almost prevented you from coming to the Lord.
Yeah.
And so asking yourself those questions and see if is it helpful and is it worth the risk?
And I would just add to that is that it's, as you, because what she's leading you to is moving forward towards your failure or towards your fear, not failure, towards the fear. And as you're moving toward that, seek the truth, and take that risk, because sometimes behind that risk is the biggest reward you will ever receive in your life.
And then you realize it's not that risky.
It's not
after
that
all.
risky, and you'll want to take bigger ones later.
Yes. Yep. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, and please subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you on our next. Thank you.